In this particular video, I want to discuss, do you need to go low carb to lose body fat? So there's a big misconception within the fitness industry for a couple of reasons. So people believe that you need to go low carb to lose body fat, but that simply is not the case. So remember that the key to fat loss is merely creating a calorie deficit. So what does that mean? That essentially means that you need to be burning more calories than you're consuming over a period of time to lose body fat. How do you know if you're in a calorie deficit? It's very simple. If you're losing weight, you're in a calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight, that means you're not in a calorie deficit, and that therefore means you need to either decrease calories or add in more energy expenditure from more cardio to continue creating that calorie deficit needed for fat loss. In addition to that, it's imperative that you have weight training as the foundation of your routine to maintain muscle mass. So weight training's there to maintain muscle mass, and then calories and cardio are being manipulated to create that calorie deficit needed for fat loss. So it's really important to realize that within the context of a fat loss phase, in terms of nutrition, the two most important factors are the protein intake and the daily calorie figure. The absolute carb to fat ratio doesn't matter. So what I suggest to my clients is trying to get within approximately 10 grams of the protein target, and then within approximately 50 calories of the calorie target. If you can do that, then that will be ideal. And that therefore means that the tracking process is so much simpler because you're just thinking about two daily targets, protein and calories, rather than trying to focus on protein, carbs, and fat. So protein's main role within the fat loss phase is there to help preserve lean muscle mass, and then calories are just set to create that calorie deficit needed for fat loss. So that therefore means that if you want to, once you've got protein set up and if you want to have more carbs, that's absolutely fine as long as you draw back your fat intake to get close to that calorie figure. Likewise, if you'd rather have more fat, that's fine, just draw back your carbohydrate intake again to get close to that daily calorie figure. Another misconception people have is people believe that if they keep carbohydrates nice and low, that means they'll keep insulin low, and therefore that means they can't gain body fat. That's what they believe. That simply is not the case. First thing to consider is you need to realize that protein's also insulinogenic. It's not just carbohydrates. You can't just limit and basically cut out insulin. It just doesn't work like that. In addition to that, you need to remember that essentially if you overconsumed your diet, so let's say for example you have low carb, what typically happens when people have low carb is they feel like they can have as much dietary fat as they want. So start eating as much nuts as possible, oils, other different fat sources, because they believe that the key to fat loss is just keeping carbs low, keeping insulin in check. But the reality is, if you overconsume calories to the point you're not in a calorie deficit anymore, you won't make any progress whatsoever. In fact, you can actually start gaining fat if you're consuming enough calories to the point you're in a calorie surplus. So to clarify, you don't need to be low carb to lose body fat. You need to be within a calorie deficit to lose fat. And then secondly, remember that the daily protein intake, the daily calorie figure are the most important factors. So let your personal preference dictate the carb to fat ratio. So thank you very much for watching. If you want more help with this, make sure to click the link in the description. And if you're still yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you do, as I've got lots more content I'm going to be adding to this channel. So essentially I've got a brand new camera, so I'm going to try and utilize it as much as possible. Hopefully you're enjoying the new setup with a better quality camera, and I'll speak to you soon.